Good morning, everybody. It's Robbie from Southern California, and the sun is just starting to come up above the house. It's early in the morning, and it's quiet. And you know, the only thing I hear besides the birds and watching the rabbit run around my garden down there, my rainbow garden, what a mess. We're cleaning it up. I'm working on it right now, collecting leaves and everything. I hear noise pollution. It's the only thing I hear. It's the only term I can really give it. It's kind of a low roar. You can hear, I guess, so many, and my cell phone, so many cars and stuff in the distance. You can't hear the cars, you just hear the roar. Very low rumble. Now, can't do much about that if you want to live still close to the city. So what I have to do is just enjoy the birds. It's very quiet. There's no leaf blowers, there's no gardeners. I hear the chirp of the hummingbird. I hear the hummingbird singing. See, the bark? That's the bark of a hummingbird. And I just kind of walk around and enjoy the morning with my coffee, which I put somewhere. Oh, there it is on the chair over there. Oh, I came over here to check on, I'm going to talk low because it's so beautiful in the morning, to check on Gary's ponds. All looks good. Could use a little topping of water, so I'll probably add some water. Kind of just thinking about things, thinking about that big old pepper tree. How, 9 years ago, we thought it had to come out. It split in half. It fell down the hill. It was a sickly looking tree. Gary said it was going to have to come out. All it took was the wood chips and a few water slides on the kids' birthdays, sitting right here in the yard. And boy, did that bring that tree back to life. I will tell you, as beautiful as it is, and I do want it, it sure can cause grief to some of these containers here. Because some of the old containers where I put the holes on the bottom, that is one smart tree. Will come underneath the containers, the storage containers, totes, whatever you want to call them, and it will set its roots in there. It will even go into my garden, which is right on the other side of the cars there. So, now here goes other noise. The barking of a dog, probably somebody walking by. They see something, they hear something, or they hear Gary coming. That's probably what it is. But yeah, isn't that beautiful? This is where the deer come through. See the trail? Well, actually, Gary built that. And now you've got the coyotes use it, and well, they were using it anyways, but now that he made it more comfortable for them. The deer come through here, and then they come through here, and they'll go get water at the bathtub and the ponds. They'll hang out. They eat this tree here. They love this tree. They'll sit here and eat the tree. And then they'll come through here. And when they're really brave, which they haven't done this year yet, is they'll go down the driveway and they'll start to eat the vegetables in the garden, in the front yard. Remember, they topped some of my stuff back there. Have not done it yet. Haven't worked on the truck bed yet. Getting very close to doing things. I'm going to dot some buckets in here. And I'm still not sure what buckets, but originally we had planned last year to gut this and grow all kinds of squash and let it just drape all over. But we didn't do it, and you know, the Swiss chard looks really, really cool. I think it looks really good. I think just cleaned up, add some extra dried leaves and green leaves and just clean up that and put in some buckets. I can grow tomatoes in there. This place once was loaded with tomatoes. That was an interesting story. I had planted a few out of my compost in place, spaghetti squash. They had come up. My daughter gave us some seeds, and I threw them in my compost in place in my garden, in my regular bird garden. And then a whole bunch came up, so I grabbed a handful. I threw them in here, and they took off. We had so many spaghetti squash that it ruined our lives to ever want any more. No, Gary didn't like it. No matter how we cooked it, he didn't. That's the hawks. I think their babies hatched. That's the Cooper hawks. So we didn't really plant that much after that. But what was interesting was there was also tiny little tomato plants coming up in the compost in place. And when they came up, they stood like 2 inches, and it stayed that way all spring, all summer, and into the fall. And as the squash plants started to die all through here, all of a sudden the tomato plants grew. And we had tomatoes all winter. This whole thing was so full of tomatoes. So see, one waited for the other. Didn't have to move anything, put anything in there. And that's all it was. Look at this. This trail is beautiful. It's where Gary's bees are. And yes, he has his bees. I don't know if he really looks at them, but you know what? We have bees. So they're pollinating and doing what they're supposed to do. I wonder if the nectarine here, the nectarine tree, set any fruit. I haven't looked. I'm not sure. It had flowers. It's a very, very young tree. I guess we can't tell yet. So far, I don't see anything. I see flowers. I guess we're going to have to wait. No, I don't think they set. This tree is, 2 years old now? It was a seedling in our yard. Ah, wait a minute. I have a fruit. Look at that. Can you grow a stone fruit tree by seed? Absolutely. They're not all going to do really good, but we have some sort of nectarine tree. There was the hawk. You probably missed it. They swap places. The male will come in and then the female will leave, and then the female will come in and the male will leave. They swap all day because they share sitting. We have this nectarine tree that's growing in the yard that drops pits, and the pits will drop in the ground and they'll grow nectarines in 2 years. And they've become like a weed. And Gary used to pull them out and everything. So he had one. And I said, oh, bring me one. I think he brought it to me. And then he brought me one. And then I just put it here with my apple trees. I mean, it's better to have this than the apple trees because I know it throws fruit. And if nothing takes it, you'll get some really nice fruit. So one set. What I think happened is it opened up its flowers really when it was cold and there weren't a lot of bees out. So I didn't think it was going to set at all, but I do have a fruit. One fruit. Yeah, that's great. One fruit. But you know what? It could go back in the flower again. I don't know if it will. I'm trying to see if there's any more. I don't see any more. But yeah, there might be one here. Nah, I don't know. I'll cover this with tulle. I won't let anybody take that one fruit. Not that I need one fruit, but the idea is I can finally say, yes, it fruited. So it's 2 years old now. Next year I'll do better. Look how big it got. It was a small little tree. It was a little tiny tree, and it just took off. So I think it's done really good for a seedling. And that's it in the apple trees. Let's walk over here. This one came up from seed too. I really should graft this. We have an avocado tree that is so good. We finally got 3 avocados off of it the other day. See, the apple trees aren't going to really do anything. Apples really do need to be grafted. But I'm thinking if they set and they really take hold, because a lot of times what they want, the growers, is a really good rootstock. That's what you're putting. And you can put it on a dwarf rootstock and then have a big or small tree. You're going after the rootstock for one thing and then the top for the other. The top is for the fruit, the bottom where they graft it is for the roots. If the roots stay compact, then you end up with a small tree. If the roots get massive, well, what you've got underneath is what you have on top. So I don't know what these are. These are just seeds that I planted in my compost. They came up, I moved them, and there's one here, one there, one there, one there. There's one on the ground, that one didn't grow. I don't see why I can't I know I can, just start grafting. Take some cuttings off of maybe Gary's apple tree. When the school opens, they've got a wonderful apple tree. I'm not sure if it's a Beverly Hills or Gordon. I could go get some cuttings from that and then try to graft it. But first I'll wait and see if the tree makes it. This one's a nice straight one. But yes, see what happened here? 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 You know what it was. Deer ate it. So that's it. So I just wanted to come out, look around, kind of decide. I'm getting ready to really go gangbusters in here. I'm still debating what I'm going to grow. Here, you want to see something? You can stop critters. Now, I'm pretty sure what was eating my lettuce were the white crowns and the goldfinches. But see, whatever was stopped. So it's coming back. I haven't done anything. But the ones that were covered with a basket, look how beautiful. This one I didn't cover right away, but I still have lettuce. So you could, come up with ideas. Stop, step back if you've got an issue, and think what might work. That works. Tulle works. I just didn't bother bringing tulle down here. I have a little piece here if I need it for something, but that's about it. Probably from last year or the year before. I've got some lettuce in there. I'm going to trim out all the tomatoes here. That's the first thing I'm going to do. All of them are gone. We have new ones coming up everywhere. Tomatoes fall, they sit dormant all winter, and come spring, they're coming up. This one was very productive, and it is coming from the base. And I'm probably going, this was one of Gary's favorite, so I'm going to trim that back and keep that tomato going. I grew a watermelon in here, so we had watermelon last year and the tomato, so I'll get that taken care of, and I'll get probably another watermelon in there. And I had a watermelon in here. Look at my rose from a cutting. Yes, you can do beautiful roses from cuttings. And then I'm going to clear this out. I probably will leave the celery. Celery will go for years and years. You can cut it all the way back and it will come back. I'll leave those 2 celery, and I might leave those 3. But that's it. I'm going to have to get really tough and say anything else, no. The garlic chives is making a comeback. This was all full of black fly. It's kind of a type of black aphids. I don't worry about it, because as soon as we're getting morning sun now, this chair garden is starting to get more sun, because we're going into, well, not summer yet, but the sun is going up. And so it's going to get a lot of sun for a long time. And as soon as these plants get a lot of sun, I've noticed that's when the black fly disappears. So like I said, I don't worry about it. Just wash it off when I'm watering, and that's it. And they'll come back and you wash it off again, but it'll keep the plant alive. And now there's no more black fly. So I'm going to keep that. And then I've got some containers here. That's a waste. I'm going to get the containers out and leave one container in there probably. And I'm going to clean up this tomato. This is a really nice tomato. Look at that. This is the San Marzano. And I'm going to clean that up, stake it up, get it on my frame, and keep that one. And that's, oh, there's another celery. No, this is parsley. Clean that all. See, I don't have to do anything. I'm not tipping anything out. If there's enough soil, see how the soil drops down? You do not have to have the soil to the top. It drops down. I don't even fill them to the top. I never fill them to the top, but you can if you want, but I don't, so it's not getting 18 gallons. I like to layer. I'm going to go through here and add into the top. Might dig some of the soil back that's there already, gently. We don't want to disrupt whatever's living in there that's good that we want. Move it back a little bit, put some kitchen scraps in there, some leaves, some brown leaves, green leaves, and then top it back with either maybe something from one of those totes over there or some potting soil. I'm just going to top it back, maybe 3-4 inches, and then I'm going to start growing. That's it. I'm not doing anything this year at all. I set this up last April, and I had it planted by May, and things just bursted into food all through the summer and all through the fall and all through the winter, and still is going. I mean, we're using all this beautiful celery, and we're using everything that's coming out of here. The lettuce, the few tomatoes that are still coming out, the parsley, the garlic chives. I don't believe I have any walking onions here. We're using all this. So we've even got some small lettuce here, and we have the last of our pepper. So we still have been harvesting small amounts all through the winter. And now into spring, it's about time to get ready. Why I haven't done this is I've been working on my chair, well, not my chair garden, my rainbow garden. I call this one my chair garden, and the one that's all colors with the chairs and totes and buckets, I call that the rainbow garden. So I'm getting really close to coming in here, and I haven't rushed because I know it's going to take matter of, I can probably have this all done in a day or two, at least to have it prepped and ready to drop plants in. It won't take me long at all. So, because I'm not changing anything, I'm not pulling soil out. Every single tote in here is draining. And sometimes I don't get here quick enough and I see mosquito larvae. And what I do is I dump the buckets back in all through the different containers. And guess what? The soil in there, the microbes are going to eat all those mosquito larvae. And when you drain it out, you can check it. There's no larvae anymore. The mosquitoes are gone because, well, your soil was your strainer. And what was left in there, they can't swim in there. They can't breathe in there. So everything eats it and becomes fertilizer. And maybe that's why everything looks so good. Because that's what I've been doing. And you think if it's all coming back and looking so green. I've been pouring it on the lettuce and everything. So that's a way of doing it. And again, if you see mosquito larvae, don't throw the water down the toilet or anything. Go water your trees with it. Just dump it. Your trees will be so happy for you. I dumped a whole bunch in the truck bed, so it worked really good. So that's it. I thought I would just say good morning. Nothing new. I've got some projects I want to try, but I'm going to have to designate a day. See, now all this is all going in totes. All the brown. It's going to go on the wall. I've already decided, because why do I have to carry it all over the place? So I'm going to go through and take everything out that has to be taken out. And then I'm going to go over to those totes. Those are draining really good. I'm going to check each one. Unfortunately, some of them may be original totes where I had holes on the bottom. So I'm going to check each one and make sure there's no tree roots. That's my big problem. And that one was loaded with tree roots. You see holes around the top? Well, it got buried. And because it got buried, the holes, they weren't high enough for here because of the wood chips. The tree roots got in there and blocked it up. So I will check these. These will all have to be checked. Had I been setting them up now, I would have been more careful. But all in all, I'm going to get these ready. And I take a good look at this, because we're going to come back in about 2 months. Look at this. Barren, dry. You go, what? You don't grow any food here. And we're going to come back. We're April, mid-April. Let's say May, June. We're going to come back in June, and I'm going to show you how beautiful this looks. This will just look all green and be loaded. I plant squash here. Why do I plant squash here? I don't have to maintain it. I don't have to look at it. I don't have to check it. I'm not coming out here to do carrots and radishes and lettuce and all that. I put lettuce down here. All I'm doing is feeding the rabbits. And we have a lot of rabbits, so I'm not going to do that. They don't tend to eat the squash. I'm very lucky that they don't eat the squash. They don't touch it. Nothing touches the squash. The squirrels don't. They don't know what it is. I'm probably going to put different types of zucchini this year in here. Gary did let me know he still likes the little sweet dumplings. They're like little pumpkins. I'm going to get some of those. There's probably some left. He likes them, and yet we don't eat them all. But there's one. There's one. I could actually take this one and grow it. Look at that. They store fantastic. You know, you could take all your squash, if you got a lot of squash, and just find a place, put it on a rack outside, and look at that. So I'm not sure what I'll do with that. I could either split it, it did so well, and just let it regrow here, or plant something else. Maybe I will spot some dumplings. The dumplings take off and trail. And any type of the zucchini type plants, they don't trail. They bush out. They get really big. So you have to decide, do you want something to trail? Because when they trail, they just leave. They're everywhere. So that's what you have to think about, what you want. But you know what? That dumpling did so well, I probably will. Let's look in here and see what's going on. We have, you know, that squash is 2 years old. This is the tote. Look at that. It's trying to grow. It's trying to grow, and I haven't even watered it that well. No, it's coming out. And I'll probably pull out. This is too far down. There's only like, see how the soil disappears? The plants just use it and it all disappears. There's garlic chives there. I'm going to get those out. I'm going to compost that. Say goodbye. I am going to compost that, and I'm going to get rid of it. But that one I grew purposely. This was the first tote. Because it was a year old, I couldn't believe how much squash I got off of it, but I don't want to try to keep it. And then, see, I layer, look how everything goes way down. You know, I have it almost, not to the top, but inches from the top. See how everything sinks? So as long as everything is draining, and that's just a geranium I stuck there. See, even there's a Swiss chard in there. There's some more garlic chives, more garlic chives. See the old squash? All this is going to go back. Now, if I think it's too hard, the soil, now keep in mind, when you put stuff on top, it rejuvenates everything. All the earthworms and everything gets in there, and they do all the work for you. You'll go back and it will be really soft. But if it's really hard, I may shovel out a little bit in the corner and start adding things in that way. I'll see my mood. And then these are the moringa trees I grew. Look at that. Oh, something gnawing on that one. It's trying to make a comeback. So see how they drop down? Isn't that amazing? And you know what? Last year, that first squash on the first one grew in a small amount of soil. I never put anything in it, and yet I had so many zucchini off of it. This one I'm going to put back. Pulled it away, got rid of the roots and everything. This one didn't fall as much as the others, but I'm going to just push it back. It's very easy to push back. I'm just going to lift it and push it back. I pulled it out. And this is a tomato I had planted. I moved it, I believe. I moved something in here at the very end of summer, beginning of fall. I think I'm going to trim this back really good. Well, see, there's so much dried up parts to it. I'm going to leave that one. It struggled, and yet it's doing a beautiful comeback. And I do believe this is red tomatoes of some sort. I don't grow a certain variety. I should. I know a lot of you guys grow, we grow this one and that one, we love it. I actually grow what wants to grow here. I'll start with a variety, and then when they drop their seeds, they're hybrids, and they're just fantastic. It is a red tomato. It's right in front of me. It's still growing tomatoes right now. So it doesn't really matter to me. I do think I want a couple slicing tomatoes this year. And I've got a few seeds, older seeds. I may get some out here. I haven't gone to any nurseries or anything yet. So I didn't last year at all. Everything was grown from seed because of the pandemic. I haven't been to a grocery store since March 13th, 2020. I would never believe that I can live without going to a grocery store, getting my Walmart orders, and then living out of the garden. But it worked, and we got everything we needed. So that worked out really good. So that's it. I just thought I'd come out here. Starting to get noisy. The sun is coming. See, there was no sun when we start talking. I'm going to go find my coffee, which is sitting down there on the chair. Finish that up and get my day going, because I have a couple DIYs I want to work on. I've got some ideas that may or may not work, just for making some solar fountains. I don't have any small solar fountains here, but I want to just load the yard up. Just the ones I've got set up there. Gary's got 2 in the bathtub. We've got the big 5-watt, and that's got the panel hanging on the wall, and then the small one I set up. And then I set up the small one in the second pond, and he'll be getting to this other pond pretty soon. And we want to keep that kind of like wild wilderness. And then here, more color. And then, of course, my chair garden that's got a rainbow of color. So I think that's it for today. I think I've talked your ear off already. This is just a vlog on nothing. Isn't that pretty back there? And I do want to get more things back there. You know what I'm dragging out there? The pomegranate trees that I don't want. I don't need any more pomegranate trees. They come up. I did a video to squish some seeds into a big flower pot to show you how it worked, and it did. And now I got all these pomegranate seeds growing plants. So I drag them out there and figured we'll bush this all up with pomegranates. Hey, it's a win-win. Whichever ones make it, if I take care of it or Gary takes care of it, we'll end up with more pomegranates. But we do have quite a few. And then we want to get other things in there. The aloe vera came from my daughter's. It was so funny. He went over there over a year ago, and she said, I want the aloe vera out. Do you want some? And he said, yeah. He went and dug them all up. She said, you took them all. He didn't know, but you know what? It didn't take much. She left a few pieces in there, and now they've got a bunch of aloe vera. And I think he might, or I might, put some black sugar cane back here too. That would look really cool. I had plans of doing something up on top to drape down the wall, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. I think Gary's going to do something with that. I don't need to add in anymore. I've got so many gardens. So with that, just wanted to say good morning. I think I found my coffee. I found my coffee. There it is. I just thought I'd come say good morning. I was just sitting out here watching the hawk. She was looking down at me, he or she, on the nest. And I just thought it would be such a pretty morning before the sun came up to say hello and give you my thoughts. And remember, if you've got totes growing from last year or flower pots or however way you plant them in a container that is, going to last for a while, you don't have to don't throw the soil away. The soil is soil. Mother Nature doesn't throw soil away. She just puts more on top. And that's what you're going to do. As long as it's draining, it's got to be draining. All containers have holes. Because if you don't watch it and it gets too much water, you will kill your plants. Your plants are not water plants unless they belong in a pond. And I don't think you're planting that. You just add to the top, and this is draining beautiful. And that is all I'm going to do. And well, I'll take you with me when I do it. And I'll be doing that real soon. So with that, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Like I said, this was just a vlog, just a morning hello. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye, everybody. Oh, good. Where's Kitty? And I've got to end it with this one. This is unbelievable. This squash is last year's squash. This is like, it's got the worst root system because it's already old. But the only reason it's living is because of this. This is my 2 system where the bucket is buried partway down into this tote. And then you compost in here and you throw leaves, kitchen scraps, whatever you want. There's holes all along the bottom so it leaches. You water that, it leaches into there. And you know what? Yeah, that one dried up. But I am still getting zucchini on this old plant that I want to pull out. It's throwing flowers and everything. I'm not going to do anything with this one because this one may end up having male flowers. And let's say the new ones I plant may only have females, so this one may end up helping me for a while. But I pulled three zucchini off of that last night for dinner. So they were small, they were about that size, but I didn't see this one or I would have pulled this one off too last night because I've been pulling them small. But it's amazing how plants can do so well under certain conditions, and the only thing keeping that alive is that container, and we're going to get more into that in different ways of setting up systems like this.